been a minute, right, since we've watched a kung fu movie.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's about right.
yeah. Not to say we haven't watched our fair share. I
Yeah.
just feel like,
Lately.
yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like we've kind of gotten away from it, even though like it's something that we've talked about for a minute. But this is a first. It's the first time that we've paired. We don't have to pair food at the end of this because we've already.
Because we've done it.
Yeah, we actually did what we said we would do.
For real.
My name's Eli,
And this is Denise.
and we're film to table. I feel it's kind of funny. We've always talked about this idea of pairing up your chef skills with our nerdism for movies, and I think the idea in my head always like revolved around the idea of maybe doing some spaghetti westerns, but
Really?
yeah, I mean, just the idea of like, I feel like there are quite a few spaghetti westerns that you have not seen.
Sure.
And I remember I was showing you some of them, and I think that's where I started coming up with the idea for doing this. But I don't know why. I mean, I guess I know why, but at the same time, like, it always seemed like the perfect pairing would have easily have been like Asian cuisine with like kung fu, like sort of movies or things along those lines, because we're such nerds for Jackie Chan, but also Sammo Hung.
Yeah.
And I've had this set. We watched one of these movies on this set.
Oh, yeah?
It's the three films that Sammo Hung, which was put out by Eureka, which I believe might be a UK based company. But we watched Eastern Condors, which is kind of more like an action movie.
Uh-huh.
But when I asked you to put something together for dinner over the weekend, but I told you that we would pair it with like a movie, I think you already had some ideas, and I think it was partly because you guys just did a pop up, not too long ago. I guess because it's is it all month long?
It's actually AAPI month. It's Asian,
the month of May,
American Pacific Islander month.
Yeah.
So we partnered with a local kind of divey bar for a little pop up. They had some cool, pretty awesome drinks, and then they asked us to come in and make the food. So that was pretty rad. It was just kind of fun to do it for the culture or whatever. And nice to see people come out and support. It was like a Tuesday night, kind of randomly.
Yeah, there were a lot of people.
But yeah, it was a good turnout. It was really good DJ, good vibes, good people. Did a good amount of sales, so it was fun.
Yeah, and I think that kind of got, because you made one of the things you had made was like
it's like a fried rice.
Yeah, with like pork belly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked it that you had, I think you gave me like a bowl of that, even though I think I had some of the lumpia as well too.
Yeah.
Well, and also had some of the dessert.
Just a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to be the tester.
Totally, it's a sacrifice.
Can't be putting that stuff out in front of people without quality control. But yeah, the fried rice you made had a bit of a crunchy texture to it, and I don't know. You had quite a bit of leftover pork belly, and that's why I was like, let's have you do something with that. And I think you pivoted though.
I did
for the week.
I kind of was toying around with the idea, but I think I got a little pork bellied out. After.
No, and that's fair. We had a lot of it.
Yeah, I cooked like, I don't know. It must have been
well, and you made some
10 pounds at least.
You made some this past week, right?
Yeah, I finished the rest. Like, I finished some of it off and then froze the rest because I figure we probably shouldn't be eating that much pork belly all at once.
Sure.
For health. But I was still kind of in that in that mindset of like, I kind of still want some noodles. I still want something Asian-y. And like during the pandemic, I got kind of really into studying more of like, I don't know, kind of Chinese techniques of
Hmm.
cooking as opposed to just kind of moving a little bit away from the very French stuff that I did learn in school and
Yeah.
at the restaurants. Because it's such a different kind of skill set. So learning more about the wok and all those kind of techniques.
Yeah, and I had bought you that wok
Yeah.
that from that knife company that I
Mm.
really like. And well, we'll talk about what you actually made here at the end.
Okay.
But so you ended up giving me what it was you were going to make. So I
Yeah.
took a look at what we hadn't looked at, and it did have me thinking of like Hong Kong movies.
Right.
And then I remember I had this three set, and one of the ones on this set was the Magnificent Butcher with Sammo Hung, which is 1979
Mm-hmm.
is when this movie came out. There's actually some interesting stuff here that I didn't read on the back of this box, but I had looked at it and then remembered I had this. So, but I guess for some of the sort of trivia kind of portion, I guess you could say, of this. So this movie is a 1979 movie. It's directed by Yao Wung Ping, which
Yeah.
I didn't realize. It actually says here this is a spiritual successor to his earlier smash, The Drunken Master,
Uh-huh.
which I did. I mean, it makes sense having watched it
Totally.
now.
Absolutely.
Even though it's funny that it's on a Sammo Hung box set, but I don't really think he was the star of the movie. Like, I mean, he is, but isn't. And maybe, I mean, we'll talk about that just a
Yeah.
little bit. But I mean, obviously, like he's the draw. But
Yeah.
I think, like you were saying, there's so many characters in this that
Yeah.
like it could have been any of them.
There's a lot going on in this movie.
Yeah, and so
in kind of the best way.
yeah. Well, let me just. I guess I'll read the back real quick,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
it says, "The Magnificent Butcher stars Sammo Hung as Butcher, Lam Si Wing,
Mm-hmm.
a pupil of, oh, I don't have my reading glasses. So
Oh, no.
this is gonna be tough.
You want me to do it?
Wang Fei, he's the pupil of Wang Fei Hong, a role Jackie Chan portrayed in The Drunken Master.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that the master is supposed to be him, but I guess they couldn't get Jackie Chan. And let's see, but here played by Kai Tai Hing, who played the legendary folk hero over 70 films. When Lam is framed for the murder of a rival clan, when Lam is framed for the murder by a rival clan, he must track down the real murderer to clear his name. To be strong enough and have a chance of winning, he must train under the original Drunken Master, Beggar's Soul, presented in a brand new 2K restoration. Yeah, it's kind of funny because I mean, what were your initial thoughts? Because like, I think the way that they have it written there is like it's basically I wouldn't say misidentity, but it's like the mistaken identity sort of I don't know, conundrum kind of sort of scenario. But like it moved very briskly, like
Yeah.
which I love that about these movies.
Yeah.
But what was your like overall impression of this movie?
I mean, I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
It was just kind of funny. Like as we were going through it, it's like it felt like it smashed 3 or 4 different kinds of movies all in the same movie.
Yeah.
Because first there's a bit of that murder mystery, and then the other one is the usual, the typical kind of kung fu movie where it's like one school versus the other school, and just like all the shitty kind of characters versus the righteous, happy-go-lucky characters. But then it gets kind of dark too, with all kind of the revenge plots
Yeah.
of like one killing somebody else, so we have to take revenge now on this other guy. It just kind of goes back and forth a little bit, but also there's like the tonal shifts was kind of insane because at first it's like, oh, haha, it's so funny because it's a little bit Three Stooges in some of its in some of the little parts of the plot.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of silly. Like, I feel like Sammo Hung always has to inject some of that stuff in his movies. But then it goes from kind of like, oh, silly, haha, fun and games, mistaken identity, to like, oh, now rape and murder.
Yeah.
and now it's straight up murder with murdering the witnesses. It's like
Right.
it just kind of went sideways a couple times, and it's so interesting. And then by the end shot, like, I guess spoilers for a movie from 1979. By the end of it, it's like, oh, haha, you silly guy.
Yeah, it had a very
It's just all
Mentos,
over. Yeah,
like
yeah.
a Mentos ending kind of moment,
Yeah.
which was kind of odd, but
It's just kind of
also
funny. Like
appropriate.
It was just all over the place because initially I thought it was gonna be very kind of the Jackie Chan style of like, oh, just silly, haha, but then serious fights, and then just pretty light tone. And it kind of it went off the deep end for a minute there.
Yeah.
Real dark for a second. Like darker than usual, I feel like, for a kung fu movie.
Well, yes, but also yes, but no. Like
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you, but like in a very strange way, like I don't know. There's a. I mean, we've seen a fair amount of kung fu movies, and I feel like I think the last one I showed you was the Five Fingers of Death.
Yeah.
And that one, the tone is very like what I think you would expect a kung fu movie to be, which is just
Right.
straight up,
Like straightforward.
right?
Yeah,
And there's either a revenge plot or there is, like you were saying, it's
like
like
the rivalry.
right. It's
Yeah.
like you can't. I mean, there's so much. It's almost like chivalry in the sense of like
Yeah, there's like
honor between the
there's
schools
like
of like
a code, right?
right. Like basically, you can't look at us the wrong way or whatever, because
right.
that's dishonoring our school or whatever. So the only thing that came to mind in thinking this, because I agree with you, like it does get dark, or it has its moments where it's like it is kind of dark, but it felt. I don't know if you've seen enough Three's Company for me to make this comment, but like it felt like a very Three's Company scenario or situational movie, because it's like the whole opening premise like kind of starts because somebody lies to another person, and like literally because of that, like a whole a series of follies happens afterwards, where like the very first situation, I guess, where the two old men are playing chess, and then like they kind of get into a friendly spat, because it's like, oh, you're cheating. It's like, I'm not cheating. How dare you call me a cheater? And then like Sammo Hung gets involved
For like no real reason.
for no reason other than like, hey, you shouldn't
cheat, or you shouldn't steal.
you shouldn't steal.
Yeah.
And then to find out that like he basically shouldn't have gotten involved, but he beats the shit out of like an old man,
Just like little old man.
even though like he realizes like, oh, it was just like a friendly little little spat. I probably should have been not involved. And then that old man,
like kind of escalates.
right? Well, that old man tells the kung fu master of
like,
that one school,
of the rival school,
that he talked shit about the school, and that he said that he could beat them all up. Like from that moment, it was already like
just
very, like you said, it's very Three Stooges of like, okay, so like everybody just, it's like that set the tone of like, okay, I get, it's almost like comical, and then there's like all these like comical sort of type sequences that happen throughout, and it's funny because it sets up the idea of like how this is going to play out, but at the same time, like you said, it gets into like, it gets kind of serious, but in a tone that's still like believably comical, I guess you could say. Like it didn't feel like dark in the sense of like John Wick dark or anything like that. It was like, I don't know, like it was almost more like you can almost tell like it was a story driven plot point. But I like the fact that like this movie is an hour and 40 minutes, And like you said, there's like 8 different storylines that are
Yeah.
happening, but it didn't feel like overly overwhelming too much, except for in the beginning, there's quite a bit, but once you
Yeah.
kind of understand, like we had to pause and I had to check with you. I was
We
like, wait
had
a
to
minute.
discuss real quick.
Yeah, I was like,
what was
okay,
happening.
so this guy and this guy,
Right.
and he's mistaken for this
Yes,
guy.
yes.
And then you were like, yes. And I was like,
Correct.
all right, we can keep going. So then, like, once I think that was situated, then the rest of it was just like, it was a really strange sort of, like, almost like a stream of conscious, like, storytelling of like, oh,
yeah.
and then this will happen, and then this, and this,
Yeah,
and this,
yeah,
and
yeah,
this. And it all just kind of leads up to, like, the ending. But I think like the main gist of it is a classic. Everybody wants revenge,
Yeah.
and it's like mistaken, like identity. Not mistaken identity. I don't know if that's the correct usage of that, but it's more like
I mean, kind of.
mistaken or miss. I guess like almost like a it's misjudgment of the actual facts,
Right.
and so because of that, everybody just wants revenge.
Yeah.
And so, like, this person wants revenge because of this, and
Yeah.
then they do their thing, and it's like, well, I want revenge back on this person.
Right.
And really, it's just I guess, much like a food, right? Like, what's something that you always say is just a vessel for, like, an excuse to put something on something because...
Like red velvet cake is just an excuse for the cream cheese
Okay,
frosting.
yeah, exactly. I feel like that's exactly what this movie was, because we just needed a reason to see awesome kung fu.
Yeah. I mean,
And-
the choreography was awesome in a lot of these scenes.
Man, it is a bit unreal. Like,
Yeah.
I think we've seen. I think maybe we've seen this on Corridor Crew, but they always talk about how. I mean, I guess just one step before I say the next thing is like this movie is super well filmed.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
it's filmed in a wide angle or using like a wide lens, which you can kind of see the I mean, whether you like the guy or not, like Tarantino's like known for watching like a lot of these kung fu movies, and obviously he used him for, or Yao Wingping for
the stunts.
for the stunts in Kill Bill and stuff like that. So you can see the influence of like using the wide lens and using like the large framing.
Yeah.
But it also goes back to the whole, I think it was Corridor Crew, where they talked about like keeping the shots wide and seeing all the action play out.
Yeah.
Instead of using the,
Like
I guess
the
you could say
cuts.
the Bourne Identity
Yeah.
cuts, where the action is more in the cutting
Yeah.
than it is in the actual
The
like
filming.
impacts. And in this thing, it's just like insane
Yeah.
watching people do
It's almost
this stuff.
Yeah, it's almost like a flex.
It
'Cause
really
it's like
is.
watch what we're doing. We're not cutting away.
Right.
You watch this guy just slam into a table, and that's exactly what you're seeing.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Well,
It's
I mean,
so good.
the amount of time they would, or I mean, honestly, I don't know if it's the amount of time or the amount of like, it's impressive to me to be like, not only are you having to do the choreography for movies like this, but I think people also forget that the choreography is not just with the action of the fighting,
Yeah.
but it's with the camera operator to be like,
Oh, totally.
don't get out of frame.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, stay
we
right
have
here.
to, we need to rehearse so that I can see everything in this frame
Yeah.
and not be zooming in and out and in and out. Like,
Right.
it's that in itself is also like an awesome like skill.
It's just as much a part of the choreography as anything else.
Absolutely. And so, I mean, I know that is part of the studying
Yeah.
of that. And I mean, Jackie Chan was famous for this. And I think like you
Truly.
see that in this, but like, there's like a handful of fights in this. And I think the first time the Drunken Master fights,
Yeah.
the butcher, that whole sequence is awesome. Like
It's
it's
so
a
good.
crazy fight.
Yeah.
And it's really, really good. I think my other favorite fight, I don't know if you had another favorite one, but outside of that one,
What other fights were there?
well, there was like, there was like the first time the Drunken Master like shows up with them. And then there is, then there's this one where I guess the Drunken Master frees the wife that's
Yeah.
been kidnapped.
Yeah.
And then there's a fight between what is it, the cat guy or
the cat guy was pretty rad. The cat guy was impressive. So there's, in true like kind of kung fu fashion, kind of in the more tropey version of kung fu movies, there's like all these characters, right? Of the people that belong to these kung fu schools, and they all have their own styles, their techniques, and they have their own little costumes and like their bit or their gimmick.
Well, I think it's part of the training, right? It's like certain styles.
Sure. But like I'm saying they ham it up in the movie
Right.
as far, because obviously nobody's meowing the whole time they're fighting.
Sure.
So there's like the cat guy, the monkey guy, and then the guy with the
monkey
fan.
guy. Oh, the fan guy. Yeah,
the
that's
fan
right.
guy. Like, I mean, all of them were kind of gimmicky, but like super fun to watch because, it was just really. It was more like a dance. I feel like more than it was like actual, realistic fighting styles necessarily. But
sure,
you can't like. It's hard to. I don't know. It's so hard to downplay. Not downplay. It's hard to overstate how insane the choreography is. Can you just thinking about that, like as a normal person with no martial arts training, how impossible that must be for like a regular old like lazy person. Like I don't know. It really does feel like a dance because it's like step, step, step.
Yeah, it really is, and it's I mean the other part of this as well too. Like I said, is like I feel like whenever we talk about like cinema, that's like. Like cinema, like the 2001 or like movies that like have these, like they're thought of as masterpieces or whatever because of how they're filmed and like, the story, I guess, and all that stuff or whatever. But I watch a movie like this and man, it's so well refined. Like
it truly,
it's really well lit. Like the fighting, like I said, is really well thought through.
Yeah.
It does not feel cheap. Like this actually feels.
It feels like they rehearsed these like for months.
Yeah,
like
and if you were to make a movie like this nowadays, but just modernized it, I would hope that people would watch movies like this. I think the closest thing we have to this is like the Raid series, and then I think there's that one movie that is coming out called The Fury that I think we super.
Oh my god, I'm so excited!
Yeah, that we really want to see. Even though, like, I still think that these movies, like. The cutting is, or the editing is so like, there's a lot of restraint on the editing.
Yeah.
They really just stay.
They just stay on
these shots, but they do drive like the story. There's not a, there's not like an unnecessary like, oh well, this camera just stays in this one spot forever or whatever, and it I don't know. I think it's like it's just to me it's a bit of a bummer that we don't hear more about these types of movies. I'm sure that you do if you're around the Tarantino types, but I think just as a larger picture, like there's a lot that I watched as we were like watching this that just kind of got me inspired to be like, oh yeah, that'd be a good way to do like storytelling or whatever. And really, when you think about it, this movie really is like just, it's like tight shots, wide shots, tight shot, wide shot, mid shot every now and then to just kind of help things. But it still felt like it's funny because like the only thing I can think of recent watching that we watched was like I don't know if it was like The Mandalorian or like one of those Boba Fett shows or whatever. I remember I was telling you like for a giant Star Wars universe, the movie or like the series or the show felt really small.
Yep. Because
of how they filmed it.
Yeah.
Like they would use the what do they call it, the wall to sort of put the backgrounds every now and then.
Yeah.
But there was something lacking from it. And then we watched this movie, which has a very similar, like they don't show big, epic, wide, like high angle shots that show like, oh, here's the entire city,
this is
whatever.
the town,
But the world feels kind of big here, and I don't know.
Because it feels real. It feels like lived in. And you feel like, you're just focusing on these characters. But it's like, oh, look, now they're gambling. Now they're going to the market. Now they're like seeing their friends or whatever.
Right.
There's like it feels like lived in because of all the textures of the characters.
And I feel like a lot of the camera placement and how they do that is the important part.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like in a and this isn't necessarily the slam like Mandalorian or Boba Fett or whatever, but I feel like that act to me is actually where you lean too much into like the CGI side of things, where they purposely put in one shot to sort of sell you on this like, oh, it's a Star Wars universe. But like honestly, this, if you were to replace this with like the blind guy from Rogue One, I would believe that that is a Star Wars universe,
Right.
with that guy, and you just drop in a couple robots here and there in the background, and add like some texture to the backgrounds
Yeah.
of like changing out a few things for holograms or whatever. And I would totally believe that that is a
That's
larger
funny.
universe
Yeah.
than a show like that. And I felt like that in this movie. So like everything they do like really does serve like a good purpose all the way through. So I guess to kind of go back to what you were saying, I was going to say the two fights I like was the first time the Drunken Master like meets up with the Butcher, but then also when the Butcher fights, what was his name, Super Cat or Bravo Cat or
It's
whatever.
like Crazy Cat or something.
I think it
like
was
that.
like that. Yeah, we'll just call it
Yeah.
Bravo Cat. But like I love that because like I haven't seen that style of kung fu, and I know that some of these are. I mean, obviously, all of kung fu is just whatever. But it was funny because you do see a lot of like. I think we saw monkey technique, crane
Yeah,
technique,
crane,
cobra
dragon.
technique,
Yeah.
tiger technique,
Dragon.
dragon technique. Then there was hands of flame.
Yeah.
What was the one that the drunken man? It was like stone.
It's like
fists,
Iron Fist.
or Iron Fists. Yeah, I think. And the only reason I liked the Bravo Cat one or whatever was just because like I hadn't seen something like that before, which was just kind of fun.
It's just like cartoony almost.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like the technique itself was like, I mean, all the techniques are whatever. And if anything, it did make me feel, as we were watching this, it kind of did make me feel like a kid, because like I kind of remember from time to time when we were kids where, I mean, and I think this was really more because of wrestling, but like you would call out your move
We'll call it the movie. Yeah,
before you do it. And so like this one, more than a lot of other movies,
Yeah.
or a lot of the other kung fu movies that we've seen, where like in the middle of the fight he'll be like cobra technique, and
Yeah,
then like
yeah.
then immediately switches to it. And again, like it's kind of funny because like the shots are really like purposeful in that, like, oh, the technique has changed. It's sort of like there's like a coda, I guess, maybe. And then it goes back into the fight. And so like you were saying, much like a dance or like music, it's like all these like technique, or all these like music styles, and then the music changes.
Yeah.
But then we're still
We're
like
still
within,
dancing. Yeah.
right. We're still within like the parameters of what we're kind of working in. But yeah, I think you really had called out or really liked the and I have to kind of agree too, the fan guy, the fan technique, which I don't think he necessarily calls out fan technique.
No, but he like fought with the big giant fan.
Yeah, I mean, outside of like Master of the Flying Guillotine, I can't think of another movie where there's like that technique is
Yeah.
used. I think actually maybe in like Lady Snowblood, or one of the. I mean, granted, that's not really kung fu, but like.
I mean, in like the ancient kind of samurai era, it was part of like kind of their regalia as far as like armor.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know if it was used as a weapon, but it definitely was like treated as if it was part of your whole situation when you
Yeah.
go to battle.
Yeah, that was an awesome fight though, with
Yeah,
like
it's pretty rad.
what that was like monkey technique.
Yeah,
and-
the monkey technique guy was pretty funny. Yeah, it was just like all of these, and obviously the drunken master with his technique of just getting blottoed.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know, just fun, like kind of what you were saying. It was a little bit cartoony, funny, like in that silly kind of way, but it was so good.
yeah.
It was so good.
And that's why I was saying, like, I know you hadn't seen or haven't seen too much Three's Company, but there's like this one scene in particular where they're talking about because the butcher wants to learn
The Iron Fist.
the Iron Fist, and so he
his-
makes a misassumption.
Well, even beyond that, like a layer deeper, his nickname is, what is it? It's like pig, right? Like his name is like Skinny Pig.
Skinny
Like
Pig.
when he was growing up, when his brother's looking for him, they talk about his nickname as a child was Skinny Pig, and his brother was like crazy cow or something like
Yeah.
that. And they never explain why, but that's like the whole bit is like he's kind of chubby, whatever, and now he's not skinny pig. He's just like
Yeah. Well, yeah. His brother's like, "Why are you fat now?"
yeah. But now he's the butcher.
Right.
But yeah, so this whole like this little comedic interlude that they have in between that, he's wanting to learn the Iron Fist from the Drunken Master, and the Drunken Master's like, yeah, whatever. You gotta have to soak your hands in vinegar. I don't want to talk about it right now. So later on down the line, the Drunken Master comes home like carrying, unbeknownst to the butcher, he's carrying like a set of pig trotters because he wants to cook it. And he puts it in the sink, and then he goes sit down and drink some more. And then the butcher walks by and it's like, so what do we do next? And then the Drunken Masters go like, well, let's go ahead and soak the trotters in vinegar. And he's like, oh, sweet. Maybe I get to learn the Iron Fist technique now, not having seen the pig trotters.
Right. But he also, I guess, assumed that trotters meant like his
like
trotters.
his trotters, because he was known as Skinny Pig. So I was like, okay,
Right.
I guess I'll start with my hands. And it becomes this whole like Three Stooges thing of like,
Well, that's the Three's Company of it.
right.
that
Like just the miscommunication.
Right.
And like the funny things that come out of that. Because then the Drunken Master is like, okay, now you have to like trim the nails.
And take off the skin, or
now
take
you
off
have
the
to like,
hair.
you have to shave the hair, but you have to burn off the rest of the hair that doesn't come off. And he's like,
Yeah.
I do.
And he's doing that to his own hands.
Yeah, like because the butcher, the Drunken Master isn't watching him; he's just sitting down drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like shouting the instructions at him, and it just becomes this like silly bit as far. And I was just sitting there like, how far are they taking this? Like,
Well,
they
that's
just
why
keep on going.
That's why the tone, like that scene,
Yeah,
almost like as a like, I don't know, like it's sort of like a reset for everything else that's kind of happening in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like it almost kind of like that is right. I wouldn't say it's right in the center, but it's somewhere near the center where it almost like kind of reminds you like that this is like a fun movie.
yeah,
And not to take it too seriously, even though like a couple of people get murdered, like in just
Like
literally
just-
cold blood.
right,
Like,
right.
and so it's kind of like they're, I guess for what it is, it's a very like, I mean, we've talked about this with other movies too, as far as like when you set the tone, and this actually felt a lot like a Western to me. In that,
I see that. Yeah,
it's kind of just a slice of life, and it is what it is. Like,
yeah.
you don't really question a lot of things.
And they don't really explain a whole lot of things.
Right.
It just kind of happens. It just unfolds.
Yeah, and I super appreciate that. And like again, I don't know if these sorts of movies would hold up nowadays if they were to put it out in theaters, but I mean, I would watch the shit out of movies like this. And obviously, if they had this level of like kung fu, like fighting and style or whatever. It is kind of funny how also they had like inner voices where they would like sort of
they
talk
just
to themselves.
like, but maybe I'll blackmail him later.
Yeah, or like the woman that's kidnapped, or inadvertently kidnapped,
Yeah.
and she was like, "I'm trying to tell you that I'm like the goddaughter, you stupid fat pig,"
Yeah.
like she's like saying that in her own head or whatever. But yeah, it's just really funny how for as many characters and like you said, little storylines and little like story pivots and all that stuff, like it all happens pretty easy, like
Pretty seamless
in an hour, just a little over an hour and a half movie, and it's super entertaining.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, I can't state like how good this looks. I mean, we have like the Blu-ray version, which it looks like it's a restoration.
Yeah.
But and that's the other thing too. It's like the excessive, like if you're looking for those kung fu movies that have the whoosh, whoosh,
So I loved
this movie is like porno for that.
So over the top. I love it.
There's almost too much of it.
It's so good.
But it is absolutely like worth it.
And we watched it in the original. Was it the original dubbing?
We watched the original. Like it says English. I think it said like English original dub.
Yeah.
So I guess there must have been like an updated version. But I honestly because I was thinking about putting the Cantonese on. We watch it in with the subtitles. But for whatever reason, I just kind of was like, I think I want to see this with the dub. And I really think in this particular case, it actually added quite a bit because if the dub is the original dub from the 70s, it was done by probably British people. Like, it's British English.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny because like the ones where they're trying to portray as kind of like Hicks. They have these like much, much heavier like accents. Or like the ones that are like very obviously kind of evil. They have a different accent for those guys.
Yeah.
But like all like, from the UK or whatever.
Well, it's funny because it's like UK people stereotyping American stereotypes of what an evil American stereotype voice would sound like, or an American like redneck sort of voice would sound on a person from Hong Kong.
It's just funny, like hearing the drunken master and like what sounds like what may. I'm not obviously an expert in all those accents, but it kind of sounded like maybe it was Cockney or something like that.
Yeah. I think you're right. Like, and that's all, it was funny too because like, the slang of like, it's a bunch of rubbish. Like, It added this weird, confusing. That was the other reason why I kind of felt like it felt like a Western, because it felt a little bit like a spaghetti Western. But then it also had like that dubbing giallo of like overacting in the voices, which, like I said, I have a feeling that if we watch this in Cantonese, I feel like the tone might translate the same.
I can see that,
because I think we would be silly. Like, whoa, what? Like, holy crap! The mistaken sort of a moment where one of the characters dies from like suffocation. You're like, oh shit. I think I don't think that would have played the same. And also some of the revenge moments, I think also would not have played the same. But this was
fun.
This was a lot of fun.
Super fun.
I think there's only one more that we have to watch on this disc, but if there's a proper pairing for it, maybe we'll get around to, I think the other one's called the Iron Fist Monk. These are all Samo. Well, and that was the other thing that I was just going to kind of mention. The last thing I was going to kind of mention is like, and I don't know what you think, but like maybe because there were so many different characters, but like I know Sammo Hung is in this, but he does not feel like the main star to me. It almost felt like the Drunken Master was almost the main star, but I think it's just because he's got so much like he eats up the scenes whenever he's in it, but then there's like the brother, and then there's like the other like side characters, and they all share like almost an equal amount of time. I mean, by the time he gets to the last act, it's all mostly Sammo Hung. And the last fight is awesome, and the choreography in that last fighting sequence is actually like really fun. And then it ends with the Mentos like sort of moment, which is kind of strange, but also like a lot of fun. The only thing I would say is like, this is one of those movies where like I say it's a great like film and it looks great or whatever, but I don't necessarily think it's for everybody, in that I think you really have to be like a fan of cinema to really appreciate what this movie is, because
really?
I think so. I think a lot of people would be like, I don't understand. Like, why are they this or that? You know what I mean? Like almost
it's just so silly or something.
Well, like the people that are always looking for the reasoning behind like, I don't understand this or that, where it's like, no, just that's...
Or people who always bitch about plot holes. Like, shut up. Nobody cares.
Yeah, exactly. This is very much like the Kung Fu schools, or the schools are what they are. You just kind of buy into them.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm curious. Like, I'm curious how many people do enjoy Kung Fu like this for what it is, and don't look for like some of the other more I don't know if like I would say serious ones, but like some of the Wu-Tang Clan movies are a little more like I don't know, they're more almost like serious, whereas this one was serious but has like the light tone that Jackie Chan has.
Yeah.
So it falls to me in more of a, I don't know if there is like a categorization for those types of movies where you have the Jackie Chan sort of action movies, and then you have like sort of the more
Like the more traditional kung fu
Yeah,
style.
like the
Yeah.
usually the Shaolin
Yeah.
ones, like I think like what's that one? The the Shaolin 8 pole fighter, I think it's called something like that. And then there's like the one that the Wu Tang Clan actually like
That came from.
the music. Yeah,
Yeah.
the seven or the 37 chamber one, which I think those are more like, and those are awesome.
Yeah.
And I think that they sit with this sort of movie, but I feel like this does skew more into the Jackie Chan kind
Era.
of like, you gotta
Yeah.
get kicked in the nuts and you make the face of like the
Yeah.
woo, like kind of cross-eyed,
Yeah.
as you get hit in the nuts, but
Yeah, it's
people
like
are still dying.
it's like the next kind of progression. I feel
Yeah.
like from the traditional style where now it's well, back then it was the more modern version.
Yeah.
As far as like there's also Hollywood influences
Mm-hmm.
from like Three Stooges or Buster Keaton, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
As opposed to just straightforward kung fu.
Yeah, this definitely feels like a culmination of a lot of that,
Yeah.
like you were saying, in a way that is very digestible and probably got a lot of Chinese American British. This felt like a very like this probably did super well in the UK.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, because Hong Kong was
A territory.
a territory of Britain, that I can see where this crossover probably was very influential
I can see that.
to a lot of other things that because I mean you can kind of see there's a lot of influence that you would see in a lot of other movies. But yeah, man, I wish they would make action movies like this sort of again, and be brave enough to like just really stick on these
Just
shots.
hold,
Yeah.
just hold on it.
Just have the constraint and put
Yeah.
a lot of effort into allowing the stunt teams to do their work.
To do the work. Yeah.
Yeah, just let them do
Just-
their craft.
Just let them show off,
Yeah.
like that's what they're there for.
I mean, it's kind of like we just got finished watching some of those cooking shows, the one that competitive show,
Mm-hmm.
where like sometimes like the plate itself looks super simple. And they talk about how like, yeah, but it's really about like it just needs to taste really good.
Yeah.
You don't need to like fancy it all up with whatever. And I feel like this movie is definitely that. It's like, man, just let the stunt people cook. Like just let them simmer.
Yeah.
We all want to see that. We don't need any other fancy like
Right.
set pieces or whatever. Like, I mean, you
Just-
can throw them in every now and then, but really it's like we just want to see, like, we just want it to taste really good.
Yeah.
And this definitely was like one of those. So
It's just so impressive. Like, look at him go. I mean, like, I know Sammo Hung, that's kind of his trademark, right? Like, he's the big guy.
the big
in
guy who
these
can
kung fu
move
movies,
like
but goddamn, he
crazy.
can move. Like, all the jumps and the flips and all the crazy shit. Like, he's so fast. It's actually like I keep kind of trying to watch whenever we watch his movies.
Yeah.
I keep trying to look for telltale signs that they've sped it up a little bit. And I think maybe in his later movies
Sure.
they do it a little bit. But when he's younger, like in these older movies, he's just fast.
Yeah, and this is probably one of the lighter sized Sammo Hung movies that of his
Yeah.
repertoire.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's still big, but he's
Yeah.
not like as big as he is like in his later
His
movies.
Later movies, yeah.
But yeah. Well, before we talk about what you ended up making for dinner, we still have to pick who we think would make the best sandwich out of everybody in this cast. I don't know if you want to go first. I do have somebody in mind, but I'm curious what you would go with, because we had there's a lot of people in this.
Yeah. I think kind of the easy pick would be the Sammo Hung character because he's a butcher.
Oh, okay.
But being a butcher doesn't necessarily mean you're a good cook, right? So I would actually say maybe his brother could put down some
sandwich?
good eats. Yeah.
Why do you say that though?
I don't know. He's not as focused on kung fu as the Sammo Hung character. I feel like he's more homey type because he's super.
Married,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's married. He's super attached to his wife. He's obviously like every other time you see him, he's like eating something. So yeah, I can kind of see him being more interested in like the culinary side of it. And I could feel like maybe not sandwich so much as like I bet he can make some pretty good dumplings.
Okay. Yeah, we'll for this one we'll allow it since
Culturally.
normally we would do sandwiches, but I guess that fits. Well, then in that case, I think the person that I would pick, even though like I don't know whatever the equivalent of a sandwich is, I guess noodles maybe like
Noodles, yeah.
but I would definitely go with the Drunken Master because I feel
I
like
see that.
he's like the guy. I mean, we've all hung out with the people that they can handle their drink,
Yeah.
but you go back to their apartment or you go back to their house and then they cook up something that, I mean, granted, I would say I used to be that guy when we used to go out drinking where I would make, like, if we came back to my apartment with friends or whatever, like, if we had the stuff around for it, I would make like migas, like crispy, tortillas cut up with eggs, but like a shit ton of butter and like enough, for everybody to kind of just eat off of.
Right.
So it was kind of like greasy, like late night drinking food. But I feel like the Drunken Master here would probably have that skill set. Like it's probably one of only like 3 things he can actually make.
Well, plus he's like super resourceful. He'll like cook with whatever he can find.
Well, I mean, he's going to cook with booze, is what it's going to be.
Right.
I think there's no doubt.
Yeah,
that would be the case. The only other person that I was kind of thinking of was the evil. Well, I wouldn't even say evil, but like the rival like kung fu master from the other school is the only other guy I was thinking because he's so like meticulous about whatever that I think he would actually make something. Like, even if it was, like, a sandwich or some sort of sandwich type thing, that he'd be very particular about, like, getting crunchy and crispy, like, lettuce, and that the meats are proper.
Yeah.
And, like, everything's just very,
just
like...
right.
And I guess maybe that's just more so because masters are very, like... was it... It's... They say master. I mean, I guess it would be Sifu.
Yeah.
But, like, Sifus are so... meticulous and particular because they want everything to be.
I mean, they're a master for a reason.
Yeah, and so I feel like the sandwich would be that. Even though I went with the Drunken Master because I don't know if I want that level of discipline. It's like I just want something that's
I just want something
even
fun.
if it is sloppy and kind of whatever. It probably tastes like better because of that. So yeah, those okay. Those are our picks for this movie. So. We had you made dinner before we watched the movie. Why don't you go over what you made and I guess what you used and kind of walk us through what it is. I'll post the some of the prep pictures and then the final result on the end. But yeah, what did you end up making to pair with this that we ended up eating tonight?
Well, so I felt I was feeling very noodly today for some reason. Like, just had to scratch that itch.
Nudes.
Yes, I wanted to have some nudes. But yeah, so I was trying to think of like what would be good for tonight. And I mean, kind of the go-to whenever we're kind of trying to scratch the itch for like Chinese takeout is like lo mein. And I'm like, that sounded pretty good. So I was kind of thinking about it like there's a specific kind of egg noodle that's more known kind of like a Hong Kong style stir fry noodle that is like it's just like nice and kind of chewy and bouncy at the same time, and you kind of let it kind of crisp up in the pan a little bit, nice like little like nice chewy crunchy kind of bits on it. Like, so I was kind of feeling that. So I just made kind of like a beef lo mein, I guess kind of Hong Kong style, mostly because of the noodles, but threw in a little Taiwan in there too with the sausages that I found in the market. Just went by the Asian market, got some Hong Kong style noodles, some bean sprouts, some nice oyster mushrooms, sauteed all that up together with like a little sauce with dark soy sauce, Shaoxing wine, all the good stuff.
Is that what the meat like? So what kind of beef was that? Was it just
so it's just it's kind of funny, the Asian market that I went to like down the street, for whatever reason they don't have a very robust like beef section. It's mostly like pork and chicken and fish. So I found like the one little package of beef that I could find. It I'm not even sure what cut it's from. It just says like beef cuts, and I'm like, okay, sure, yeah, whatever. So it's like not super thin sliced beef, but like I could like slice it into strips, and kind of a pretty traditional Chinese technique is it's called velveting of meat. So basically, you marinate it for like just a little bit, maybe half an hour to a couple hours. And what you do is you put some sauces in there, the sauces that you like, which in this case was like dark soy sauce, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of Shaoxing wine. But you also put a little bit of baking soda and cornstarch. And I can't remember the science behind it, but it works to break down the muscle a little bit, and it gives that kind of softer texture to the beef. That's why when you get stir fry, like even if they're using like cheaper cuts of beef, it's almost always still tender because of the way they slice it, and this process that I'm talking about, which is velveting. It also like because of the cornstarch, it also helps like thicken up the sauces that you use in the stir fry.
That
So
makes
like it
sense.
helps it pulls it all together in the end. So that's what I did with the beef, and why it was so tasty.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you because the beef tasted. I kept telling you that it tasted really good. And I couldn't tell, like, how you did that, but I guess because
Just to marinate.
it I guess because it's the cornstarch that makes the stuff stick to it.
Yeah,
I
I think it's either the cornstarch helps with like the sauce, thickening up the sauce, but I think it also does something to the meat.
Gotcha.
That between that and the baking soda, it does something to the meat that like tenderizes it a little bit better.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense because it was really tasty in that sense.
Thanks.
And like I said, I would have loved like some crunchy lumpia to go with it if we had like an additional side.
Oh yeah, I should have cooked some of the dumplings in the freezer. That would have been good too.
No, I think I mean
No.
no. I think like it was. I mean, it definitely was good.
Yeah.
If you had to do like a vegetarian style version of that, like what would you change out? Like, or could you?
I mean, I would honestly like. I love the mushrooms that I pulled today. So like, it was just a bunch of oyster mushrooms. I would just throw in more of that. You could always do some more vegetables in there too. Like, I couldn't find the what are they called? Like snap peas. I couldn't find them for some reason, but I would have put that. I'm not a big carrot fan, but that's another option you can throw in there. Like something.
Can you not use
like,
oyster sauce then? If that's is that really like made of oysters? I have no idea.
It might be, but I want to say that they sell like vegan or vegetarian like oyster
Sauce.
flavored sauce now. There's like almost always like a vegan or vegetarian version of stuff now. But yeah, like I mean, it doesn't have to be oyster sauce too. Like hoisin is just as good, maybe slightly different flavor profile. But for this dish, we use oyster sauce.
Yeah,
but,
no, I was just
yeah.
curious if there is like a.
Oh yeah, I mean honestly, like Asian cuisine, Indian cuisine, those types of cuisine were like a huge part of the population, at least in the olden days, like couldn't afford a lot of meat. Very easy to turn to vegetarian or vegan because like for the most part, it like meat was a luxury. In the way that it's not anymore. Like just about anybody can more or less like eat it now, but yeah, like I can't see why you just load it up with like some veggies and just go at it.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. Maybe we'll post. I'll post the pictures of what you made for dinner, and then maybe you can kind of throw up some of your ingredients in the post, and if anybody wants to reach out or send us pictures of your version of what do you want to call this a magnificent lo mein or
it's funny if I had known that like him being a butcher would have because Eli picked the movie after I made the food,
right?
So I didn't know what I was coming into, but I probably would have. I don't know. It was really good with the beef, but it was if we were going on theme, like probably could have used pork as well.
Sure, that seemed to be a big player in the movie as well.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, really, it could have you could kind of throw anything in there, be tasty with all that sauce in it.
So I think we can call it like the butcher's. We'll call it butcher's lo mein.
Yeah, that sounds good.
To go with this. So butcher's lo mein, and you could substitute the meat for pork if you wanted
if
to.
You don't want to be a butcher.
Actually tie it directly to the movie because he's Little Pig. So yeah, we'll call it. Yeah, we'll call it that. We'll call it the butcher's lo mein.
Or the magnificent lo mein.
Yeah, or magnificent. Yeah,
I mean,
or
it's like
magnificent.
it's like okay lo mein.
Well, we'll save that then for another. If there's another magnificent title, even though I don't know how many
magnificent kung fu movies.
Yeah, but I do like butcher's lo mein because
Yeah.
I can kind of see him eating that in this movie. So.
Yeah.
Well, cool. That was a good pairing. I actually really like that one. So we'll definitely.
We didn't
do
have
this.
enough rice wine to drink with it.
Yeah, no. Oh, and that was the other thing. Yeah, I guess you could definitely bring out your sake.
Yeah.
For this movie to eat with your butcher's lo mein. So, well, cool. I guess if we'd love to see people's takes on butcher's lo mein. So send us pictures. You can send pictures of your lo mein to topshelfvideo at Gmail podcast, and we'd love to see your take on it and your thoughts on the movie. If you can also email us there to give us suggestions on movies that we could pair to foods and whatnot. You can follow us on Instagram. It's topshelfvideo TX, I think, on Instagram. You can go to topshelfvideo.com. That's the website that has both Top Shelf Video and Film to Table podcasts, and you can get all the episodes there. And then you can find us on Spotify, Apple, where all the podcasts and all the things are. So yeah, this was a good pairing, and we'll have to figure out what we're going to do next, and we'll use the same chef technique of you can pick out, or you can pick something. Maybe we'll make use of that, some of that pork belly, and then we just work that into something else. Or maybe it is time to put together an Italian dish for either a giallo or a spaghetti western. So, but well, okay. Make sure that you take care of your waitstaff, so you tip them well.
That's right, and buy around for the kitchen.
Yep, and we'll catch everybody at our next dinner setting.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay.
Love you.
Okay, love you too.